Another year, or 12 as it feels this year, has come and gone, and it's time for all the year's reflections. The past couple years, I have done a video like this talking about the games I've played over the past year, and the games I'm looking forward to in the next year. This year, I'm going to split them up into two videos, and this is the reflection video talking about all the games I played this year for the first time. This year, there are 29 of them, hence the splitting of videos in two. This year, I did a lot of gaming with the quarantine time. And at the end, I'll reflect a bit on the channel over the past year. Hopefully you enjoy this video as I talk more about some games I've already made videos on, and chat for the first time about games that, for one reason or another, did not get their own videos. The games are listed in the order I played them in the year, and in order not to make the video too long, each game shall get a maximum of 3 sentences about it. Let's go. The Secret of Monkey Island. Fun adventure game that got some laughs out of me and thankfully had additions in the newest version to modernize it. Sword duels that involve dueling insults as well is a top-notch combat system. Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE Encore. A remaster that's really just a port saving TMS from the Wii U. Solid combat, fun story and characters, colorful art and nice music. Overall a solid game that didn't quite live up to the promise of a Fire Emblem Shin Megami Tensei crossover. Vystaria Saga War of the Scions. One of the post-Fire Emblem Shozokaga games, enjoyable story and surprisingly deep characters, unfortunately exhibits issues when it comes to excessive map size and bloated roster despite attempts to balance that out with mid-chapter saves and split deployments. This is one I didn't manage to complete and may or may not be one I return to. Tales of Symphonia. I really tried with this one, y'all. The issue isn't with the game in general, but the PC port is terrible, and I don't really have other options when it comes to consoles. Even after downloading the fan-made patch, I was encountering huge frame drops and occasional crashes. It deserves better. Jeanne d'Arc. Unique setting, and I'm sure it's a nice tactical game. It just didn't draw me in as I was casting about for games to play prior to the big ones coming in March/April. The Last of Us. I don't normally care for zombie games, but the story drew me in and I had a lot of fun going on the journey with Ellie and Joel. I'm good with ending my time with them in this first game, however. Trails from Zero. Best fan localization I have ever played, plus one of the best Trails games in the series equals amazing experience all around. The Crossbell arc got off to an excellent start with this entry. Ao no Kiseki. Also a solid Trails game, although it is more convoluted. I played it mostly because I wanted to be able to get to Cold Steel 3 and 4 this year, which I did, so it's worth it. I will be revisiting this one once the Geofront finishes their fan localization of it. Persona 5 Royal. Takes an already fantastic game in Persona 5 and makes it even better. The quality of life improvements are excellent, and the third semester is a thoughtful and satisfying finale even more than the original ending. Trails of Cold Steel 3. The best Cold Steel game in my opinion, brings together many characters to great effect, and even introduces new favorites or improves characters I didn't consider great characters in their first appearances. All around, amazing work. Ori and the Blind Forest. Beautifully rendered Metrovania platformer with a simple but effective story. Add in the challenge of the gameplay and the adorable Ori, and there's something magical about this game. XCOM Chimera Squad. A unique take on the XCOM model. Loved some of the new mechanics such as the breach system to start levels. Doesn't quite scratch the XCOM itch as a mainline entry would, but I'll take this surprise spin-off. Ys Memories of Celceta. The Ys games all have fantastic gameplay. The story in this one does feel a little less focused than prior games though. The exploration part of the game is the real highlight, and I hope it shows up again in the Ys games I've yet to play. Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. An amazing story now coupled with stunning graphics and a lengthy new epilogue? Sign me up. Really glad to see Xenoblade Chronicles get the Switch port, and I eagerly await what Monolith Soft will do next for the series. Divinity Original Sin 2. Tried the original by myself and couldn't get into it. Tried the sequel with friends and have been having a great, if chaotic and fire-filled time with it. Lesson being, games are better with friends. And also possibly that Divinity Original Sin 2 is better than the first. Still have a ways to go in the game, but I'm looking forward to all of it. Persona 4 Golden. Persona 4 Golden has finally escaped the PS Vita, a terrific game that runs cleanly on PC. after I downloaded that patch they issued that prevented the movies from stuttering so much. Hopefully this is the start of Atlus bringing more of their games to PC. Radiant Historia, maybe? Duck Game. Multiplayer game where you go around quacking and shooting each other. Had fun playing with siblings, but other multiplayer games have taken over on that front. Still wouldn't mind coming back to this one if anyone wants to play. Islanders. Relaxing little strategy game, seriously great for whiling away time and very fun to see your islands develop. Plus, numbers go up make brain release serotonin, always good. Don't Starve Together. Another multiplayer game I decided to play with a friend, a good game but I haven't gotten too far into it yet. I do recommend playing with an experienced friend though, otherwise you might die quickly, like I would've. Fall Guys. Colorful bouncing fun that I was actually good at for a while. I've fallen off in playing it like many other multiplayer games, but I'll still boot it up to play with people at times. A really solid game that couldn't quite keep up its worldwide phenomenon status. Ys, The Oath in Felghana. My favorite Ys game so far. Excellent story, involves my favorite combat system, surprisingly good voice acting. A pretty big step up in difficulty though, based on normal difficulty, but that made it feel very rewarding once I succeeded in beating each boss. Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc. Weird, but in a good way. The trials especially are unlike any game I've ever played, which is fantastic. A stylized, zany experience with a lot of murder, twists, and mistrust happening. Speaking of mistrust, Among Us. You all know it. It's the game that will make you never trust your friends and family ever again. I highly enjoy it though, both as the imposter and crewmate, although I never want to have to start the reactor ever again because that's where I die every time. Genshin Impact. Beautiful game in art and especially music, plus the gameplay is good with its exploration and elemental combat. The story progression is very slow though, which is why I lost interest, but I can still appreciate this insane free-to-play game. They should have just made it paid though and got rid of the gacha system. Ys, The Ark of Napishtim. It introduced my favorite Ys combat system, which I appreciate and also has a nice setting. On the whole though, it pales in several areas compared to other Ys games. Still a good game, just not as good in comparison. Trails of Cold Steel 4. The chaotic, sometimes amazing, sometimes mind-mendingly ridiculous finale to the Cold Steel arc. I think if you let yourself get sucked along with the journey, you'll have a great time, but I understand why there are mixed opinions on this entry. I still enjoyed it though. Hades. Escaping the underworld has never been so attractive. Seriously, the characters are gorgeous, and the game has so many layers to its gameplay and story. Hades is a superb game that I can and will be playing for a long time to come, a rarity given my gaming schedule. Fire Emblem, Shadow Dragon, and the Blade of Light. I played the first couple chapters, and it is strategic fun, but I think they should have gone further in quality of life features to bring it up to speed. For instance, showing enemy unit range and allowing me to press a button to switch to allies like in modern Fire Emblem games. Fun gaming history lesson, but motivating myself to play the game at times is difficult. Celeste. Finally, an unexpected one. Gifted to me by some friends, we have a game that is a whirlwind of fantastic elements, a strong narrative, and the biggest challenge in a platforming game I've encountered. Made the climbing of the mountain a singularly rewarding experience both gameplay and story-wise. Very fitting game to finish off this challenging year. And there we have it, every game I played for the first time in 2020. As for the channel itself, the continued growth this year has been amazing. As of writing this script, the channel is closing in on 950 subscribers. That's more people than some towns I've lived in. And we've also surpassed 100,000 views total for the channel. Plus, the channel has a new most watched video as Why You Should Play Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition took over the top spot from Why I'm Excited for Fire Emblem Three Houses. I love the slow burn some of my videos have had, and I'm glad they've stayed relevant. I've been able to put out some videos I'm really proud of this year, and I've been blessed with great responses and support from all of you. I hope I provided some entertainment this year, and I'm looking forward to you joining me in 2021. If you want a sneak preview on how that year is going to go, come back here next week for my channel and Gaming 2021 preview video. Comment below what games you played this year. How many of the ones on my list did you also play? Subscribe to keep following the channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Happy holidays to all of you, and happy gaming.